means I have whatever section 3 look like you said earlier. I got a chance to get with a job, project. I have to move to live in St. Paul. Okay.
Say that again?
You don't have to.
No.
I don't have to, but closer.
13 county, that's a lot.
13 county.
Okay.
A higher preference goes to those that are in St. Paul.
Yeah.
But that's only if you have two Section 3 companies that are pretty much the exact same, like same bid numbers. So it doesn't factor in too often, but it does occasionally. Yeah. So the closer you are to the project, the higher the preference you get.
Joe, let's ask you this question.
I got a question over here too. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, my question is, can you prepare then give a minimum bid and maximum bid so that people have an opportunity to know the range? Well, if you say minimum bid is 100,000, and they say, well, that's too low for me to do, so I don't want to bid, so save their time. So you really say, this house is from 100 to 150. That's the range we expect. Then the people, they see the house and they look at that, you know, I cannot do it for less than 150, so they withdraw. They don't need to do it.
I don't know. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Even like the auctioneer, they say, well, this item has to start from $5. And
you'll go hire somebody.
And what would that accomplish?
Yeah, look like he said, you go hire plumbing, electrical, and well, everybody, you know, go in there and look at it because they depend. That's what school for. They learn from it, all right? And they go in there and estimate how much they write up the estimate. So if you're going to spend that house, they say, oh, look at it. They said, oh, 40,000, and then to be fair with everybody, somebody said to push the price down and then you kill every subcontractor going there. All right? Look like $40, he's reasonable, and call in. Right. Because the guy they say, okay, painter, brick, flooring, whatever. You know, you give to them.
How do you determine what's reasonable? I mean, I awarded a couple of these initial jobs to a contractor that was substantially lower than the other bids, and it was enough of an outlier that I really questioned this contractor's ability to pull the work off, and I was reluctant to, you know, I have some quantifiable way that I can determine whether someone is capable, right? And I determined that he was, and he was prepared, and we awarded the contract, and it's working out. And I had a lot of general contractors that weren't awarded give me some free advice and say, there's no way that's going to work. And I don't know. It's just a funny world they live in. Let me take your question.
Kind of a two-part. Yeah. One is, maybe on this part, but for general contractors, is there a binding prevailing wage?
No.
Frequency of payouts, that helps you keep track of? Because I've worked on some other projects that require a weekly payout.
Yeah, because we don't have, there's no, you know, Davis-Bacon prevailing wage requirement. We're not tracking wages. Right. So this is work that is exempt from Davis-Bacon.
Okay. That's good.
Well, is it good? It's good from some perspective. It's not from some perspective, I guess.
I also wanted to mention a point that actually that I was reminded in the conversation that we were just having. I mentioned the preferences, the priorities that are in place for companies that are closer to the area that provide an economic benefit to individuals who live closer to the area of the project. The way that it's supposed to work is Section 3 applies to any jurisdiction, any city, any town, any county, any state that receives these dollars from HUD. So all of those jurisdictions should have a Section 3 program in place. Minneapolis has a Section 3 program. Ramsey, Hennepin, Duluth, all these entities also should have a Section 3 program in place. So the idea is as a city of St. Paul, we want to make sure that city of St. Paul residents and companies who provide opportunities to those city of St. Paul residents, that they get the first shot, that they get the best shot at these projects. The idea is, well, Minneapolis is doing the same with its own Minneapolis residents, and then all these other jurisdictions do the same with their own residents. So that's really one of the purposes behind, those preferences. Yeah.
Now, once you get certified as a Section 3, do you have to register on each company or each city?
Right now you do. Right now that every city has its own way of getting certified, its own application process. We're working to try to combine efforts and have a single application, a single process that you send to a single place and you hear from a single place. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, but we're working there. We're working hard to get there.
How long does the process take?
With the city of St. Paul, right now we're getting two things. The application, the process goes as well. If we get a completed application or a pretty well completed application, it can take as little as a couple of days. However, if all we get is just a person's name, then we have to call you back or send you a letter and say, hey, can you send me articles of incorporation or tax documents? That exchange still takes time. I would say right now we're able to get a company certified in a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks. And if it's an urgent matter, if you are about to submit that bid for one of these homes or something, call us and we'll put you on the top of that list and get you certified a little quicker. So we can get it done pretty quickly.
And it's you and Jack, right?
Yeah, I have. My colleague is. I also have his card, Jack Ray. He's the individual who really looks at all the applications and who you'll hear from if you need anything else to complete your application.
Is a test involved? I have a question.
A test?
Yeah.
No test. What we do, and let me explain. What we do is when we have a list, we say, okay, for example, Monk Construction, they are a Section 3 business for whichever one of the 3 ways. We don't vouch for the abilities or the skills or the experiences of a company. That's up to the general or whoever's deciding on hiring any other companies to look into how well they like that company, what they've heard of that company, any references. Okay, so we just certify based on for the unique income guidelines. Okay. Are there any other questions about Section 3?
Any books certified?
Any what, I'm sorry?
Any books or brochures?
About certification.
No, you can go on the
Go to the
website.
Yeah, if you go to the website,
They
all the
only have
information is there.
yes, no question where you live and where you're at and so on and so on, and then how
It's-
much money you
it's
do.
pretty short.
and
It's,
yeah, I think that's all.
It's a
But
couple of
plan.
pages long. We do ask for articles of incorporation and some tax documents to verify
Yeah,
something.
track and look like contractor, you have certification, workman come, you got a lot of things, because I've been there.
Yeah. And so when you submit an application, you get certified, you're put on a list. And so we make this available to developers, general contractors. If you're a general contractor, we also give you a list so you can find subs. And what's good about this list is, number one, you know that they're certified, okay? But number two, we also indicate if they have a vendor outreach certification. Okay, so maybe you have a Section 3 business who has also been certified as a women-owned business or a small business. If you're the general contractor, if you can go with a sub, if you go with a sub that can help you meet 2 requirements at once, it makes sense. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It just makes it easier for you. So that's also in place, and it'll make it a little easier for you to be able to round out all your subcontracting activities or serve as a subcontractor. Trying to think if there's anything else that I should mention about that list. We update the list.
You said every city or every county?
Every jurisdiction that receives these dollars, these HUD dollars, and that includes counties, cities, and even the state of Minnesota does receive some of these dollars. So all those different levels of government should have a Section 3 program in place.
So Section 3, just to clarify on that, is it's a HUD requirement. And because the city received the neighborhood stabilization program dollars from HUD, it's applicable. And we have other programs There's a couple other funding sources here and there in my department that don't flow through HUD. They're the exception to the rule that Section 3 wouldn't be applicable. I mean, but anything from HUD, that's the key. It's a HUD requirement.
Yeah, definitely, it's not everything from HUD, but it's a lot of the main things that the city uses in helping to fund these projects. Yeah.
I have some question that I think maybe for you.
Sure.
If I want, let's say you buy some house rehab, and if I'm over here, I like to buy some house like you and rehab it.
Did you get my card?
Can I be able to? Do you buy house through the bank or through the city?
It's Joe, the
Joe.
tallest one.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
I told her that I'd follow up if you had some question about something, so. Okay, you're welcome. I'm sorry, you were asking about if you could buy.
A house which you guys can buy. We can go shop in your store.
Well, you can shop in the same store that I shop in, which is the open market of homes that are owned by banks.
Okay.
So I'm purchasing homes from banks.
Okay.
That they received them through foreclosure proceedings. I'm purchasing the homes with the intent to run them through our rehab program, or I'm actually also purchasing some homes that we're demolishing, and we're going to build new homes on those lots at some point in the future. That's another whole topic that we can talk about. We're not there
Like
yet.
Habitat, huh?
Maybe kind of a year or two down the road. The work that Habitat is doing over on the east side, that's been in the news the last couple days because President Carter was here.
Yeah.
Some of those homes were purchased with Neighborhood Stabilization Program dollars. And we have a partnership with Habitat where, they're running their own contract. So to answer your question more specifically, you certainly can be out purchasing a vacant foreclosed home from a bank. It's, in terms of purchasing a home that the city has bought, our program isn't set up to offer homes, unrehabbed as is to people. Okay, we're set up our program to either work in partnership with some developers or to rehab them ourselves. Although I must say that what you're suggesting might get added into our NSP program at some point in the future, offering some of our homes just directly to home buyers. It's just, it comes with, when the city touches these homes with these HUD dollars, the strings attached to the home, then because our dollars have touched them, it gets really complicated.
I understand.
Okay, Faith, yes.
With the HUD dollars, is it only St. Paul you can purchase the house in St. Paul? Can you go any other people purchase it?
The $30 million NSP program is, I'm talking specifically about a St. Paul program. But the Neighborhood Stabilization Program from HUD went all over the country. So in this, around here, Minneapolis has a similar amount of Neighborhood Stabilization Program dollars. Actually, Ramsey County received some NSP dollars. Hennepin County received some. And the state of Minnesota, the state actually received about, I think, over $30 million. And they subsequently distributed their NSP dollars out to a lot of different cities across the state, including St. Paul, by the way. In that $30 million, some of it went to the state